The propaganda panda and the autocratic cat took a trip around the world in a new Learjet, champagne for breakfast and caviar for tea. When recession hit, lived a life of luxury. Within a double dip, lived a life of luxury. Everything on credit, no money was required. Mortgaged off the pea green boat, sold it short 10 times, creating first world problems of a global crisis kind. And when it came to pass that the economy was fucked, they developed Teflon shoulders and tried to pass the buck onto all the working people whose pay was less each day. Then took away their benefits while giving bankers bonuses, forced the unemployed onto work first schemes, and didn't give a toss about the bone tree lands. Just plunged them into ever deeper debt, deeper debt. Just plunged them into ever deeper debt. Thank you. Thank you very much. Right then. You don't get many poems about periods or menopause, do you? So I thought I'd write that wrong. And I'm wondering whether it's the massive social stigma attached to either condition of being that prevents poetry being written about these subjects. And I thought, right, well, fuck it. That's the stuff for me then, you know. So I've combined them in a twofer. So bargain poem for you, this. And fellas don't know, I can see a couple of people going, oh, she's going to talk about clocks. I won't mention clots, it's all right. No massive clotty clots, none of that. Don't worry. Don't start. See how he sat there, right? It's right by the door so he can run off quick. When I lob the fucking mic at him. Right, so this is called Blood Money. 30 plus years buying sanitary wear, and now I overspend on medication. A 2-synth twin script reproduce the oomph that my overworked ovaries depleted. 30 plus years paying too much tax on Tampax, panty pads, and now I get to shell out on extortionate hormones or wallow chin deep in my sweat-soaked sheets. 30 plus years of daylight robbery, the industry fleecing us from puberty. And when our eggs peter out and the scam is at an end, the pharmacist smiles as he rings up the till. Cha-ching! Charges us double for a therapy pill. 30 plus years of daylight robbery. Oh, 30 plus years of paying for the privilege of sticky wings and accidents. Midnight massacres, spendy exploitation of my gusset, and now the dubious pleasure of lessening the hot flush, defrauding me of hard cash, the swindling of middle-aged women. Now, populist control comes without a price. You can pop a pill, prevent a baby boom. Wiggle on a Johnny, have copper in your cunt, be implanted, have a needle, all for free. Ooh. But when it comes to basic needs, to bleed or not to bleed is not an option for half the population. No. We are fiscally fucked, whichever way you look at it. From knicker desecration to cessation of the blob. We're being robbed from the cradle to the grave. Resist this embarrassment of shitness. The privatisation of collective menstruation. This reliance on a gynonomic gift to the exchequer. Let's have the bloody lot of it for free. Yes, and that includes my fucking HRT. Thank you. Plots. Right, I was coming home from a gig in Manchester the other night on the train. And there was this young lass behind me, breaking her heart. And she went on and on and on for about a good 5 minutes, saying the same thing over and over again, like, I'm not like that. I'm not like that. I wouldn't normally do that. I'm not like that. And I thought, fucking hell, all right, change the record, you know. And then I listened some more. And it turns out she works in a call centre. Now, my daughter works in a call centre. I know how bad the conditions are in them places. And what had happened was, she'd had abuse day in, day out, loads of shifts from managers and customers. And she'd finally snapped and sent a nasty email to someone. And she'd rung her mum, she'd gone to the box and rung her mum and broke down saying, "Mum, I've lost my job." And I'm listening to this and I'm filling up while she's saying about it. They've got hardly any rights, there's no union protection or anything. It's absolutely shocking. That's where our working class youth are now, care work and call centres, and they get treated like shit. And the young lad she's talking to could hardly speak. And my daughter gets this. It's through speaking 8, 9, 10 hours a day, over and over again. It ruins your voice. So I wrote this, and this is for everyone who's ever worked in a call centre and everyone who's ever lost the rag with a call centre worker. Think on. This is called Fault Lines. Bring, 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 bring. This call is being recorded for training purposes, and Christ, you hate that fucking thing. You speak for 7, 8, 9, 10, however many hours, losing faith in all humanity with every mardy customer. Explain to re-explain to re-explain again. No deviation from the script, and you can only tell me this. No more, no less. This call is being recorded for training purposes and not surveillance. With tattered throats, day in, day out. So, madam, can I help you? And you listen as she rants and raves and bursts in for your piss break, calls your mother every shade of shit, finishes envisioning fatalities for all, wishes cancer on your daughter, and the onslaught leaves you weeping. And this is what you'll dream about tonight. And the overtime is just a joke, but every well-timed toilet break is noted to extend a life's probation. No deviation from the script, you re-explain to re-explain, being flayed alive by strangers on a mission to avoid the bill, the debt, the fine, and the overtime's a fucking joke, because just when you're about to go, the phone rings. Ring, bring. Bring, bring. Christ, you hate that fucking thing, because now you have to take some more and whore your spirit and sell your soul. The floor walker strolls past your back, not giving shits about the flat that's driven home once more unto your mental health defences, with not 1 penny more to take that call that's been recorded, showing overtime that's never, ever paid. Call centres are modern mines with shit conditions, lowly wages, selling rage and daily hatred, on probation, 0 hours, just for profit, profit, profit. And now the collar colours are confused. What once was blue today is white, and now you shoulder all the bile, all the fury of all the cheated and defeated, of every skint and pissed off pauper, of every single caller with a worry of their own. Corporations making monsters drained of empathy, of sympathy, of faith in all humanity, subsisting on a living wage, breaking with the mania of each and every one of us. And I know the overtime's a fucking joke, and if I could make it better, then I would, because we are all in this together, feeding venom to each other for the sunny summer holidays and profit, profit, profit of the bosses. So when the phone rings and it's you, I will simply be polite, P's and Q's, refuse to mirror the abuse, because we lie on a fault line, in a schism, a divide, making monsters on both sides, losing faith and will to live. And when the phone rings and it's me, I will simply be polite, P's and Q's, refuse to ruin someone's day, because we both lie on a fault line, and we're all in this together. Bring, bring, bringing profit to the bosses. Thank you. Think on next time you have to deal with some poor fucker who's still on probation a year into it and getting paid shit, and do it on the 10th day of the 12-hour shifts. Right. Earlier this year, the French authorities, in their wisdom, decided to clear a section of the jungle camp in Calais. And what the plan was, they were going to relocate a certain section to another place. And they said, oh, we've got shipping containers you can sleep in and all, that's great. Except that there weren't enough shipping containers, and the methods of persuasion involved tear gas, water cannon, guns, massive amounts of obscene violence, and setting fire to people's possessions, what they've got left. Yeah. Way to go, France. Nice one. And after this happened, of the approximate 400 unaccompanied children, 129 went missing, unaccounted for. I think that's fucking shocking myself. And I got to thinking about a place not a million miles away from there, about 3 hours drive. A place of magical fairy tales where dreams come true and Mickey Mouse and Goofy walk the streets for money. And I thought the experience of the children in those two places, my God, parallel worlds, absolutely parallel worlds. And that's what this poem is called. Kevin Clark was buying ice cream as it happened. Lapping up La Disney Magique, eyes alight with dollar dreams and insincere fulfillment. 3 hours north on Auto Route 16, Safe Harbour's up in smoke. Kevin's unaware of burning hopes and mass destruction. He's never seen a tether's end, never met an orphan, or thought himself inferior, in need of pest control. Kevin tells his mum he doesn't want to go home. Shaking hands with Mickey Mouse, Instagramming happiness, he wants to stay forever. Because as far as he knows, family-friendly rides, shows and characters in costume are the measure of existence. At 7 years old, Kevin's not to know that it's built on white supremacy. He just likes the fireworks. Back up north, they're not so keen. Thank you. Right. Non-sweary one for you now. Don't have many, so make the most of it. I never really had a granddad. One died before I was born. And the other one, well, frankly, he was a bit of a boozer. I only saw him once a year, and he got me a bag of licorice all sorts once a year. So, yeah, thanks, Grandad. But luckily, there was this owl chap over the road from me, and his name was Paddy. And he never turned me away, and he never told me to shut up. None of that. He was such a lovely man. And I think every kid should have someone like this in their lives. Everyone. And unfortunately, it's less and less likely to happen. But I thank God I had him. As I say, his name was Paddy, but I applied a little poetic license to his name. And this is called, I used to call him Grandad. Seamus Rhymer lived alone. At 84, a door ajar to let in light. Reminiscing chip panner, an infant dances in to chant, Grandad, only me. mirrored invite in the kitchen, shuffle coughing, rasped benignly, love, I'm only here. Hazy days would dance away on chatter waves of rainbow stripe and honey tea. Tutoring a forward roll, telling tales taller than the comic books allowed. Feeding fierce hunger to debate, delight, to light a fire with imagery, embellishment, a history in wonderment. August brought surprises wrought in rusty iron coils. A mattress turned to trampoline. A summertime of jumping round and learning how to whistle. Seamus sat to smoke and smile, illuminating all the lonely shade. Now, no relation, kith or kin, but how significant a man to 7-year-old me. Dignity was diamond-like, precious as respect. Seamus treasured love and light, laughter and equality, weaving magic wrapped in words from ancient mariners for little girls. Seamus Rhymer lived alone. At 84, a door ajar to let in light. Thank you. Right, let's see. Do you want one about death or fracking? Death or fracking? Well, one can lead to another. Right, death or fracking? Fracking, all right then, fracking it is. You do this down south and everyone's like, what's that? Because it's not down there, is it? You know what I mean? We get the shit again. Anyway, so we do know what fracking is as northerners. It's like brrr into the bloody ground. Chemicals, terrible, really, really bad for the environment. Unless, of course, you happen to be the person who's going to make money from it. And then it's just fine. It's fine, really, really. Except it's not, is it? Right, do we know what Gaia is? Gaia, Earth Mother concept, Earth looks after itself. Yes, thank you very much. Did this at a crusty festival the other day. They all knew what Gaia was. Right, so, Gaia. Ready? This is my take on fracking. This is called environmental intercourse. It's just a little tremor. It's just a weeny shake. It's just a teeny tiny itty bitty earthquake. There's no need to worry and no need to protest. It's merely experimental fundamental stress. Yes, environmental intercourse, procreating wealth, will sell hydraulic power by contaminating wells. Gaia likes a jet inside her, moistening her shale, hungers for our filthy penetration, loves to get a fracking from a whacking big drill. Ejaculating methanol will give her crack a thrill. Ooh. Environmental intercourse, procreating wealth, will sell hydraulic power by endangering your health. This public negativity about our new technology is poisoning the people's hearts and minds. So the air's a little murky and the water's looking dirty, and we've took without consent from Mother Earth. So what? Environmental intercourse will make our wallets fat. We'll cock up all your fundaments, then sell you back the gas. We don't care about your children or your future or your health, because we're busy wrecking Gaia to increase our massive wealth. Yes, we're busy fucking Gaia and we'll please our fucking selves. Thank you. Also at that festival, some conspiraloon came up to me and thought I was actually fucking pro-fracking. After that, I'd just, oh, fuck off. Oh. If you don't get it by now, I'm not explaining it, you know. Yeah, that's probably what it was, wasn't it? Maybe I was a bit too understated or something. Yeah. I'll keep it short next year. I don't like fracking. Done. Right, okay. This is, I'm going to do a poem. Another one for the sisters, this. All 1, 2, 3 of them. You can be sisters too if you like, fellas. Join the club. It's hard work. And I'm going to show you why. This was inspired by all the words of wisdom and advice and suggestions that I've received over the years on what it is to be a woman. Or rather, a lady. It basically amounts to a list of things you can and cannot do. Mainly the latter. Funny that, innit? It is called Unsolicited, 1968 to 2016. And it goes like this. You're not allowed to cry in here, this room, this bar, a pint on deck, to fight or sulk or answer back, to join the local snooker team, to bare your legs or armpit hair, express yourself or sleep around, to shout or swear, to wear short skirts, to wear short hair, grow it, tie it, perm it, dye it, never cut it short. No. To be the boss, come more than once, to suit yourself, to wank, to sweat, to smell or fart, to bleed, release a stream of pee outside of chambered secrecy, be clever, proud, sarcastic, loud, tell dirty jokes or pick your nose, 'cause that's not very ladylike. No. To flirt, to age, to speak your mind, to even show your knickerline, bring up a child all on your own, expose your breasts, express your milk so publicly, to smoke, get drunk, get up the duff without a band of gold. Single mothers are to blame for all the world's depravity. Unsolicited. Thank you. Mind your knickerlines, ladies. Fuck off! I've got knickers on. Of course there's a line. Jesus Christ. What do you want me to fucking do? Right. Let's think. How long have it... What time is it now? Let's have a look what time it is. 20 past. All right, good, okay. I'll do this as my last poem then. And I'd like... Bambi. Who killed him? Who killed? Weren't me. Weren't me. I like Bambi. I remember watching it with me lass and getting to the bit where, you know, his mum gets killed and she's like, ah! And it's a rite of passage, isn't it, you know? So I just sat there like, evil mum, chortling to myself. Right, I actually have. Some mad bastard actually published my seditious material. Rah! Have you got any Attila the Stockbroker fans in at all? Yes? Good, good, good. Because Attila wrote the foreword, in which he states, this is one of the best books of poetry I've ever read. So I'd get a copy if I was you. It's £1,000 per page, but I will sign it in a bodily fluid of your choice. Obviously, we might have to go somewhere more private for that, but that's fine, isn't it? Just buy the book. Starving Poet, buy the book. Starving Poet, buy the book. Anyway, so that's that done. This is my last poem, as I say. And we were speaking of ladies, were we not? Now then, one died a few years ago on the 8th of April. Now, I don't even need to diarise this. I celebrate it every year. Now, if I just say, if I do this, ding dong, the witch is dead. Can you tell who it is yet? Yeah, good. I wrote this the day after she died. And I probably should have written it before, but I didn't realise how much bile had built up in me, and it all came spewing out the next day. Wrote itself, really. And this is a letter to Margaret Thatcher. This is called Dear Margaret. For Orgreave, the Beanfield, and Hillsborough. For Operation Swamp 81. For rejoicing in the burning and drowning of men. For the miners, the unions, the working class heroes, for the people whose skin you denied. For the innocents turned into criminals. For giving the force a free rein. To wield batons and tear gas and horses. To weaken and batter them all. For the families who died, for the lies you allowed to be told all this time, never giving an ounce of the truth or of justice for this 96. For the mass destruction of all our communities, psyches and spirits and faith. For my dad, ex-services thrown on the dole 15 times in as many long months. For my mother, dug deeper in poor mental health, the poverty making her sicker and sadder and madder than she'd ever been. For my brother, who lived without wages for years, burned out on a pyre of your making. For the youth of myself, for the public disgrace of the free dinner queue, for the old cast-off shoes, for none of the school trips or cookery lessons, for the shrinking grey socks, for the punches and kicks that my mother let fly in her madness, for the ice and the mould inside every window, for the hunger, the shame, my family's pain, for the living we scraped hand to mouth. For all the above, for all our lost years, for all of the grief and the depths that we reached. Dear Margaret, there's no absolution, no forgiveness or pity or grief. Your legacy lives in the fat of the rich. May your soul never find any peace. Thank you. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you. Guys, we're up, £1,000 a page. Let's go to the toilets and get the business done. Plots! Try them.
We got people, make some noise if you're enjoying the vibe. Woo! I was like, lately you've been sending me crazy, make me wonder what's all this for. Thought it was me before, now you make me sure if I left it, only find more. Hate the way we don't talk no more. You feel that you're more well known to me, don't hold hands when we want no more. Gonna let you give it up, showing that I won't. You say you're feeling stressed out of it. It's less about us and more about your mates. I feel at this rate we ain't gonna make it. Take it how you like, just don't fake it. I'm on heart, it's starting to break it. Part of me's dormant, I need you to wake it. Haunting thoughts and I just can't shake it. Feeling if we break, we're gonna stay split. Don't wanna waste it, stakes are high. Straight up, you can't look me straight in the eye. No more Facebook, cool mind to the five pains, roar and a cry. Tears run dry, it's like before the romance was there. The carry soul, we dance and share.